All right. You've entered the offices of Bishop and Shabazz Productions. We got to think up a better name for that one day.
We do. I thought we already decided on next time on productions.
I guess, but that makes it sound like we just make TV shows.
I don't know. That's fair. Well, I know. That's fair. We only do sequels.
We only do
we only do sequels here.
What a bleak existence! You just get to make the sequel that the studio didn't want to keep.
What if they're like always good though? Like what if we're like a bunch of bad movies and then we just make great sequels?
Yeah, we're the guys who come in and reboot G.I. Joe for the third time.
They're gonna reboot that again.
I know they are.
They have to.
Crazy to me. It's still crazy to me that Hasbro makes movies, but
Jumper 2. That's us. We're doing another Jumper movie.
I'll leave that one for you, Solo. I'm not a big Jumper 1 guy.
Tron 3.
All right, we're gonna remake this movie. The rules are as follows. I mean, rules. It's not rules, but the idea is we're trying to remake this movie for 2022. Oh wait, I'm bad. I'm a bad podcaster. Let me quickly actually update the title. But we're gonna remake this movie for 2022. We're gonna give you guys the writer and directors and the new cast and tell you how we are fixing the plot of this movie. Which actually, like I said before, I think actually fixing the plot of this movie is pretty easy. But first, let's get into who we are getting to make this movie. Corey, do you have a director in mind?
I think I was like, this is like honestly something I struggled with coming up with this. Because it's such a weird, like, I don't, the previous one, the tone of it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
That it was like hard to nail down what kind of movie I think this should be.
Yeah. That's the first thing I did is I tried to pick a movie that I was like, what's the tone of the movie that I actually want.
What did you pick? What did you go with?
Well, so
because I was almost thinking like, and I wouldn't know if it would work or not. Our guy from John Wick, doing the
David
directing.
Leitch?
Yeah, I don't even know if that would really make sense or something I would want to work. I don't know.
I think the only reason I don't, and as you guys know, I'm a big David Leitch guy. I love Atomic Blonde. It's my shit. But the reason I wouldn't want that is I don't think this should be strictly like an action movie. So that's why I went with Matthew Vaughn. And I'm not talking Matthew Vaughn a la The Kingsman, which I do love, but is more goofy than I'm looking for. I think Matthew Vaughn early work, such as Layer Cake and First Class. X-Men First Class, that is.
Honestly, that's a really good point. That's a really good pick.
Action movies, but like kind of serious, but also has some jokes in there.
Action
so
moment, action movies that
hardcore.
have their moments. Honestly, another choice I could think of right now is maybe like one of the Russo brother who did Extraction. Because I mean, like I think because they do a good job with the chill part, so they can occasionally.
I do like Extraction. I've honestly forgot about that movie.
Yeah, like it's
Sam
like not
Hargrave
nearly
is
as
the director of that.
Okay. Yeah, that's something I would lean to, but I think Matthew Vaughn does make more sense. So I think we should stick with Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah. So then, I wrote direct twice, but the screenwriters for this movie, and this, again, I've taken this as I do with most things in this podcast. I've taken it far too seriously, but basically because of my cast, you need to get some like heavy hitters. And while I love Matthew Vaughn, he's not known for attracting like a bunch of actors for his movies. Obviously First Class is packed with stars, but I think that's mostly the draw of the X-Men property, not necessarily Matthew Vaughn himself.
And also money.
Yeah, and also money. I went with recently Oscar nominated writers of what I think one of my, if not my favorite film of 2019, the Riz Ahmed vehicle Sound of Metal. Now, obviously I'm not looking for a movie that's like Sound of Metal, which is a very introspective, heart-wrenching movie about a man who loses his hearing, who's a musician. It's like basically his entire life. Darius Martyr, so this is Darius and Abraham Martyr. Darius Martyr also famously wrote, or is one of the three screenwriters on The Place Between the Pines, which is exactly the kind of movie I want to make. Kind of some good action sequences, but great performances, great characters. One of my favorite Ryan Gosling performances in his career is kind of. I think that's kind of the movie that like shot him into that between that and Drive, which came 2 years earlier. That's kind of the movie that made Ryan Gosling who he is today. I would think, or I suspect at least. And I think that's the kind of script I'm looking for: is a that's more of a strictly like crime drama. They're robbing banks and all that sort of thing.
And I mean,
But,
this is kind of crime drama as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, so it does fit. That does fit.
yeah, so the Darius and Abraham Martyr, who will have some cachet because they got, and I think anytime you write a script that gets somebody nominated for an Oscar, people want to come and work with you. So
My secondary, I think, my secondary choice for a creative with this might have been Ben Affleck, like direct, like Town era style. But I
Yeah.
think I like where you're hanging out at a lot for this.
I think people forget. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't think people forget. I think people think about a lot how Ben Affleck has some like genuine great movies under his belt as a film creator. Like The Town, he did The Town and Argo back to back.
I fucking love Argo.
Yeah, I'm not like a Gone Baby Gone believer, but there are people who really ride for that movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Gone Baby Gone, honestly.
It's interesting. I mean, I think you got to have.
They ever find the baby?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thanks. We don't talk about Gone Baby Gone. I clearly don't know anything about it.
It's a good Casey Affleck vehicle. I mean, it's not Manchester by the Sea or anything, but
Fun. I love that guy. Sarcasm. That's sarcasm. Oh my god. I gotta make sure I fucking.
I think the tone of this podcast has suggested we are not in support of guys like Casey Affleck at this point.
Okay,
I think if you're listening to this, we've established the kind of people we are. I hope. Or
I forget how
tone,
bad I am.
which is not
I'm
my
really bad
problem.
at sarcasm sometimes, guys. I say things and I don't realize people can't tell that I'm joking sometimes. So one of those cases.
All right, let's run down our cast for this. So
Yes.
first and foremost, I should say my movie can no longer be called Four Brothers, but also I hate the sound of four siblings. So
I have an idea. I have an idea for it. So I was looking at Wikipedia for Four Brothers, and apparently there's a Western film from like the 1960s with a very similar premise called The Sons of Katie Elder. Why don't just make it the kids of whatever you want to call the mom?
Oh, I actually do kind of like that. Yeah, the children of keep it Evelyn Mercer. The children of Evelyn Mercer.
That sounds like a much better movie. There you go. Solved your problem right there.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll run down my siblings and I'll kick it over to you for your siblings. I have.
Well, actually, can I just say my two because I agree with.
Oh yeah,
go ahead. I think my only addition, I'm only one I changed out was I had Joel Kinnaman, and my idea was him. I was just gonna kind of keep that whole military thing going, and actually have him be like a Marine type character that Tyrese is supposed to be. But other than that, we just kind of hop into your list because I think we're pretty much on the same page for the most part.
Yeah, so I wanted to pick good actors, unlike they did in the original.
Yes, that's a good idea.
That was my first move. And I also just think I think you need people who are obviously good action stars, but can be funny because I think this movie, like I said, the best parts of the original Four Brothers, the actual one, is the scenes where they're just being siblings. They're just being brothers and they're giving each other shit and they're hanging out. And you need people who are good at stuff like that. So I have my eldest brother would be Michael Pena. I think people who know Michael Pena as only the guy from Observe and Report and Ant-Man will be confused. But I beg you to go watch End of Watch if you haven't seen it. Michael Pena is like a legit actor, like really fucking good. I don't think there's anything Michael Pena's ever been in that I don't think he's improved. He's even improved Fury, a movie that I'm still on the fence about if it's genius or terrible to this day.
I told you 20 minutes. Just give me 20 minutes out of that movie. I know exactly what you're talking about. I liked Fury.
I like Fury too, but I also it might be a disaster. Like there might be a David Ayer.
I haven't watched
his mind slowly.
I don't know, man. Like no, on track. We're keeping on track. On track.
Next up, of course, Jonathan Majors. I don't think
that was my
podcast need me to tell you about Jonathan Majors. He's currently. I mean, I think. To be honest, he'd be the face of this film. He's in his star moment at the currently. Obviously,
yeah, that was definitely
the MCU.
That's definitely where I would hang my hat on. I would make him like the main character for sure.
I think this might be a little unrealistic, this next one, but I think again, like I said, I've taken this all way too seriously, and this movie's never going to really exist. But in 2022, I think we're just catching this guy right before he's about to explode and become too expensive for this film, and that's Steven Yeun, coming off of Minari, an absolute burner of a film, and a movie that I keep revisiting. I've since watched it 3 times. Burning.
That's rare for you.
Which is, yeah. Oh, I go back and rewatch movies like this pretty often. But Burning is a movie that when I originally saw it, I kind of hated because nothing happens in it and it's 3 hours long. And then the second time I saw it, I was like, nothing happens, but I'm obsessed with everything that's happening on screen. And the third time I saw it, Steven Yeun's like blazing into my eyeballs. Like I can't stop watching this guy. He's so fucking good. If you haven't seen last year's The Humans, I think it's currently on Showtime. If you guys have Showtime, he's also in that and also excellent. Definitely worth checking that out. Another guy who's just good in everything. And last of my 4 siblings is and the reason that the movie can't be called Four Brothers anymore. I think you got to put a woman in here. 1, because women exist and we should stop pretending like they don't. and 2, because I just really like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think she's fucking good. She's a great actress and she's a sick action star.
The tone of this movie needs to be some shifting. There's a lot of the tone's not great to watch in 2022. Nearly
shockingly,
20 years later.
Nobody in my movie is going to be a homophobe. Just so you guys know.
Oh, good.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see Kate from last year, it's another one quite like the 355, which Corey and I will be doing a podcast on soon. Don't worry. It's not good, but it's very stylistically fun to watch, and Winstead is just great in it, as she is in kind of everything. She's the best part of Birds of Prey, as we talked about before, and I stand by that. So Corey,
she's barely in it, but that's true.
Yeah, listen, I didn't say that was there's a lot of good movie in there.
I like that one scene in the police station because it looked cool, and apparently somebody else shot it. It wasn't
really?
the same director.
That actually makes sense. It looks like it's from a different movie.
Yeah, it does. That's probably why I like it. Then they got like a second director from some other action film that they copied that from. Where was we going?
Yeah, so my 4 siblings: Michael Pena, Jonathan Majors, Steven Yeun.
Oh yeah, I think
your 4 are
Jonathan Majors. I'm just taking out Michael Pena and replacing with Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, Michael Pena is also that
he's
really
not
matters in
gonna be,
Hollywood.
Say it again.
It's not that really matters in Hollywood. He's the only one that's he's like 10 years older than the other 3. But I don't
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. But so we'll go on to our secondary cast. I have my 2 cops, Manny Montana. I am the leader of the Manny Montana club, the Manny Montana fan club. I think he's great in everything. He's the best part of Good Girls. Apologies to my future wife, Christina Hendricks, but he's fantastic in that. And also Patrick J. Adams. I just need a cheap white boy because the rest of my cast is fucking expensive. And Patrick J. Adams is a good actor. I like him in Suits a lot. And he kind of looks like a cop. He's got a cop face. So that's who I'm going with.
I don't believe in saving money. And I like the fact that like an actor everyone you recognize was just like a cop for no reason. I'm gonna pick Pedro Pascal as a good cop.
I do love Pedro Pascal. I can't argue.
I cannot remember who I had somebody on the tip of my tongue as being like the dirty cop, and I'm fucking losing it right now, and it's really bothering me.
Was it Javier Bardem?
Yes. How did you guess? I'm gonna make John Bernthal because he's always just one or the other. So
John Bernthal. John Bernthal would be in this movie because John Bernthal just shows up and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he'd be like. Oh, there he is, and that would be his character.
John Bernthal like coming in hot in halfway through King Richard is like one of the most surprising. I guess not even cameos, just like interesting to movie I've seen.
He's such a good actor.
Yeah, I love John Bernthal.
I think honestly going forward with the show, he's gonna find his way to be in every one of my list.
Yeah, do you think he's coming back in the MCU? I mean, this is not the part of this discussion, but I guess just yes or no. Now that we have Daredevil back.
I think they would be remiss not to bring him back just because of how good of an actor he is.
I think he's like beloved, so I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I think he's like universally. I think he's probably one of the best things that came out of. I think honestly, casting choice wise, he probably was my favorite out of the entire of the Netflix run of Marvel things.
I would think the only reason not to include him is if Marvel's like trying to distance themselves from Punisher, which I could understand.
Yeah, just like stop using the skull. I don't know.
Yeah. Last on my cast list, recasting list is as villain, another guy who I just think is fantastic in everything, and I just want to see him in more stuff. So this is Zahn McClarnon, who is I guess probably most famous at this point for his role in Fargo. Is that fair? Or, or maybe Westworld?
I think Fargo. I think Fargo season 2, at least to me, when I saw who he was when I googled him, I'm like, oh, Fargo guy.
Yeah. Also, currently playing one of my favorite TV characters in Reservation Dogs as like cop who has like, no money or funding and has to drive around by himself and patrol this reservation. It is just like really funny and charming. I love McLaren. He's great. Corey, anybody else on your cast list that we didn't get to?
No, I think honestly you covered it pretty well. I don't really have a reasonable person to put in as my villain because I just like seeing Idris Elba play gangsters, and I'm not going to do that for once.
How many movies in a row can Idris Elba just be sort of like hooded evil guy before
evil guy opposite Jonathan Majors?
Yeah.
You mean every movie?
I mean, I'm fine with it, but I think it might get tiring just for Idris Elba himself.
I think so too, but he's not really doing. He's doing better-ish.
What do you mean? He's going to be in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Oh, that's right.
He's got the Luther movie coming out this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which has been delayed for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, I thought
supposedly it's coming out this year. We'll see.
I thought it was just like a rumor. I didn't know.
No. It was like it's been. I mean, as far as I know, it's been confirmed. It just kept getting pushed back, and they cast Andy Serkis and Cynthia Erivo, who's like. So he's fucking amazing. So
awesome. That sounds awesome. But no, I don't have anybody within a reasonable budget that I would.
You don't want to cast like Brad Pitt or.
I don't know. I was wondering should it be like a big name? Because I was wondering should we do like the physically.
I don't know with this stuff I just saw that poster for that new Apple TV show where it's got all of the human beings in it, and I guess if you're a streaming platform, we could just go to Apple. If we were actually in this business, then we could just go to Apple and be like, hey guys, give us all of the money. We'll cast all the people and we'll get you some subscriptions on your Apple TV Plus accounts, I guess. Right?
You know what? I got to say, I think if I'm like saying fuck it to money, I want to make Jamie Foxx my bad guy. And I want him to be like I want him to just be like cartoonish and like ridiculously over the top.
Didn't we talk about it? You saw that, oh my God, what was that superhero movie with Machine Gun Kelly in it? Power. You see Project Power?
No, I didn't see Project Power. Sorry, everything you were saying there was upsetting me as time was going on. I have never heard of this thing.
I thought we talked about this. The Netflix superhero movie.
Oh, I never watched it. I remember hearing about that. Now, was it?
I mean, he's good at it because Jamie Foxx is again just very charming, fun guy to watch.
Yeah, so I think just having Jamie Foxx be at his like most ridiculous with this character, I want that.
Yeah, I'm about it. Like I said before, I think fixing the plot of this movie is actually really easy because the structure of it makes a lot of sense. Just
the motivation
to write people who, and I think, like I said, the Darius and Adam Martyr have a real understanding of the human condition, as evidenced by Sound of Metal, which I will cape for until the day I die. But I think that's like the idea of 4 siblings being brought back together because their mother is tragically murdered, and they uncover a plot that gets more and more complex and more insidious as the movie goes on is a really cool idea for a movie. It's just this isn't a cool movie.
No, it's not. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think fixing it is pretty simple. But anything else to say about Four Brothers or Four Brothers 2? What was it? The Children of Evelyn Mercer, our way better movie that we made in 10 minutes.
Much better. I think it's like I think what we I want to stand on. Like, think it had a really good idea, a really good premise. It's just a lot of shit in the in between, and I even think you can tie in gang violence or like some kind of insidious plot that involved their mother getting killed. But yeah, I don't think
it's actually the one good thing about this movie. I mean, good or whatever. I when movies are long and good, I don't care. But the thing about this movie is it's pretty short. Hour and 50 minutes is pretty tight for a movie like this. Usually it's bloated with a lot of shit.
And it's overly complicated, but at least like at the end of it, I'm like, I am at least satisfied with most of the explanation for why like this happened. At least like to me, I'm like, this is at least makes sense. I think it's stupid as hell on that guy's part, but I think it's like just ignore one old woman, dude. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck's she gonna do?
It's also like she doesn't have any power or influence.
Nothing. She's a poor older woman. There's
a line in the movie where he literally says, I don't care about cops, I own cops. And he was worried about one geriatric lady living in the Detroit suburbs. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Christmas.